Yo, 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 it's your boy Squirrel, man. Smoke session with Squirrel. And I got a special guest in the building. Who I got with me today?
115J, man. How we doing? How we living?
I'm doing good, bro, man. How you doing?
I'm doing good, man. Happy to be here. Happy to be on the show, bro. It's been a long time coming. I know we've been talking about it for a minute, so.
Hell yeah. Let the people know where you're from and let them know what you do.
Man, I'm from Columbus, Ohio. I'm a recording artist, producer, songwriter, former engineer. I do it all, man, but recording artist before anything, for sure.
Coordinators before anything.
Yeah,
When
I
uh
gotta stand on that now.
when did you get into the music? Like when did you get into actually like the music itself? Like not like what you're doing now and shit. I mean like when did you get into,
Like,
what I mean,
actually.
writing and all that shit?
Well, I actually been in music since I was a kid, so um, growing up, I played guitar. I played electric guitar, actually. Um, I played it in like an adult band in like third grade. So I took hella guitar lessons. We did the Thanksgiving parade in Charlotte. Um, so I mean, I was really into rock music growing up. So I played a shit ton of guitar, and then I got into like middle school and stuff. Stopped fucking with music as much. Started playing sports. I was playing football, playing baseball. And then, back in high school, I ended up getting a MacBook. That comes with GarageBand. So I started messing with it a little bit. I'll make a couple beats here and there, but nothing crazy. And then, college football, I had a lot of homies from out of state, and we used to, that literally the way we would get to know each other is we would just get in the car after practice and freestyle. We would roll one up and freestyle, and like, we would sit in that Civic for hours, bro. And they're like, man, you gotta get in a real studio, man. Lay a song down. I'm like, bro, I don't even care for none of that. Like, especially we're here in Ohio. Like, before I had got into the music scene, I didn't really see much of a music scene. So I was like, man, people gonna think I'm weird. Like, I don't. But no, man, I just ended up getting into it. They told me like, bro, go lay a song down and just try it. And that's when I got into real like digital music. We actually laid a song down in my dorm room, and I came back to Ohio, and I was like, man, I gotta get in a studio. So that's when I recorded my first like the first song I put out. I was like,
Where'd you go to school at?
college or like high school.
College.
College. So I went to Kentucky Christian initially. I was playing football down there, middle of nowhere, like buttfuck middle of nowhere, Kentucky, bro. Like boonies. I think the nicest thing to eat in town was like a Wendy's. So yeah, middle of nowhere for sure. Shout out to
So
everybody.
you said you grew up listening to a lot of rock and stuff. Is that what got you like? I was gonna ask, like, you said you played the guitar. Is that what got you making beats and stuff? Is working with the instruments?
Honestly, I wouldn't be able to tell you. Like I just played around with instruments growing up. So maybe like subconsciously, my sister played classical piano, and I played electric guitar. So we were like two opposite sides of the spectrum. And we would kind of teach each other little things here. But I'm gonna be real with you. Like I can't tell you as much on the production side, but like recording wise, I just remember one day I was sitting in my car listening to music, and I was just like, I feel like I could do better than this. So that's when I really started messing with the computer stuff, and like I feel like I could make a beat better than this. It's really more just me. I don't know if you want to call it feeding your own ego or testing yourself, but I was just like, man, I feel like I could do this. Like, I don't know. So I would say like with music production, what got me more into that, I would say DJs. I was super into like house DJs and house producers growing up. Like David Guetta was one of my favorite producers ever. You feel me? And I used to love his music, and I'd be like, man, these beats are crazy. I'll listen to like I had a whole lot of different phases in music. Like the guitar honestly had nothing to play into production. I would say rock music has more to play into like how I structure my music, how I sing. Like I would say the production side is more influenced by like house music and like EDM DJs. Like I had a bunch of different phases of music growing up. So I was one of those kids that like I was just super impressionized by like, oh, I heard this new sound. I'm like, wow, this kind of music is sweet. Like, I mean, I'm Dominican, so like my first language is Spanish. I'm Dominican and Haitian, so I speak Spanish. So like my introduction to American music was just like at first it was rock music. So I was like, oh, this is sweet. And then I heard my first Lil Wayne song, and I was like, oh, this is rap music. This is cool. you know. And then I'll hear like my first house song. I'm like, well, what kind of music is this? It don't even got words for real. Like, so I don't know. I would say it's just a combination of everything for real.
Who are some of your rock influences?
Rap influences.
Like what was you like? What kind of rock was you listening to?
I listen to a lot of everything, man. Growing up, it was kind of different than what I would listen to now because it was more like I feel like growing up is kind of what you hear on the radio is what you listen to. Like, oh, I heard this song on the radio, or YouTube was really kind of just popping out when I was a kid. So, definitely like Lil Wayne was the first rapper I ever listened to ever. So, I would say he's a big influence on me. Rap wise, I guess I could also say like I also again like I'm a little bit younger, so like when I was really heavy into rap would be like probably like middle school, high school. I used to listen to a hella Kendrick Lamar. Like when he was dropping the tapes, he had the cartoons and cereal. Like I was heavy into his early music. Another artist that people don't even really know about, but he influences my music super heavy, and he was, I would say, one of my top listened to artists before I started making music. His name, Oliver Francis. He's from I think Missouri. Like, he got a decent following, but like, bro, his music is so fire. But I would say like musically, more of my influence comes outside of rap. To be honest with you, I don't listen to a lot of rap music. Like I listen
So
to a
what?
lot of. Go ahead.
It comes outside of rap. So what are those influences that draw you sometimes?
I would say like alternative rock is huge for me. This band called The Neighborhood, like that's like to me their music is fantastic. The layers, the way they structure it, the way they sing, like they even got some songs with some rap artists. I think they got a song with like Ghostface Killer. They got a song with Nip. So like they're just super diverse with their music. They're by far one of my bigger influences. I'm a huge fan of Foo Fighters. Um, People give them a lot of flack too, but Nickelback, I used to love Nickelback growing up. Like, and I would be lying if I said like they don't influence a shit ton of my music. Like a lot of people say what they want to say about Nickelback, and their music is this, that, and the third. But like, bro, I'm a pure enjoyer of art, and like their music is fire. I don't think they have a bad song.
So after you dropped that first song when you was in college, when did you actually start to try to take the music serious?
So I dropped that first song. It's crazy because like I was kind of peer pressured into doing music, like at least publicly. I didn't really want people to know I was doing music because I was just super self conscious about it. So like I even went under a whole different name. Like it was just like I put the 115 and like I have my face out and everything, but it was just like J.A.I. And I remember I put the first song out and I told my friends like I made them all vow. I was like, you're not allowed to tell anybody I did this. We're not allowed to tell anybody who it is. Like if you want to play it, you could play it. You could play it for people, whatever. So they would play it for people, and they'll be like, "Yo, this is hard. Who's this?" They're like, "Oh, it's just a new artist I found." And we would just do that all the time. Like we wouldn't tell people it was me because I just didn't want nobody to know. And then when I seen it started getting plays, I think the first song was called like IADTA, like I ain't doing this again. Now I would call it a shitty song, but at the time is what it is. Like people, you feel me? You got to grow as an artist. But after that one, I had dropped this song called Stargazing, and that one started to do like views, like, and this was on SoundCloud, Apple Music. I ended up taking this song down just for some other shit, but that song did views like 10,000 like views. I was like, okay, this is the first time I actually got some people
It was
listening.
starting to get that buzz and shit.
Yeah, so I was like, man, I kind of like this. Like, I feel like I could do this. And I remember I was sitting in my college class. I was a business major, and we were sitting there. He was talking about how some theory he had. It was an economic class, and he was saying how economics would affect small businesses today and things like that. And I asked him, I was like, just out of curiosity, like, how many businesses have you owned? He was like, nah, I never owned one. He was like, why would you ask me that? I'm like, okay. Then I stood up and left and dropped out of school. I was like, I'm just gonna pursue music. Like, This don't even make sense to me anymore. All I
Your
was
your
thinking about is want to record.
your teacher couldn't even tell you what you needed to hear.
Yeah, like I was just sitting here, like all I could think about was like I could record another song today. I was writing music in the back of class, and then you paying all this money for education, and people tell you like, and I don't knock it at all. Like college is definitely important. I feel like it can help a lot of people. But like in my personal standpoint and my beliefs and where I felt like drawn to be, um, it just wasn't school. It wasn't sports anymore. I wanted to make music. So that's when I would say that's when I started to take it serious and really like I bought my first setup and put it in my house. I was recording off. I had my laptop screen plugged into my TV. The whole little setup, a little Focusrite, a blue mic, and just started cooking.
So you taught yourself how to record.
Yeah, yeah. I taught myself. So I started with GarageBand, and then I bought Logic, and I would just YouTube University. I taught myself how to use Logic, and then I had gotten around somebody who used Pro Tools for the first time, and I was like, oh, this seems a little bit more professional. So that's when I really started to like dive in. At that point, I had stopped working entirely. I bought like a T-shirt press, and I was pressing T-shirts, and that's how I would pay my rent. Like I would press like 10 T-shirts a day. You feel me? Post them on my Instagram, like, hey, I'm selling these T-shirts. This, that, and the third, and just pull up on people, sell the T-shirts. When I was out of T-shirts for the day, I'll come home and just learn Pro Tools, like practice Pro Tools. You know what I mean? And then I got to the point where I just saved up enough money. I was like, all right, fuck it, I'm gonna go balls to the wall. My homie, Noah, shout out to him, man. His family took me in at this point. You feel me? I'm not working, so they took me and him in. They had this little apartment on their property, and they let me build a studio in the garage. So I built a whole booth in there. I put a couch in there, a TV up, and I would
They
just make
blessed you.
music. Yeah, they blessed me, bro. I can't even lie to you. Like even I owe them the world for that, man. Because at that point in my life, like I love my family, but I wasn't really seeing eye to eye with everybody in my family because I had dropped out of school. Like, I pretty much went against what everybody told me because I did not grow up bad, bro. I had a great life. You feel me? I had everything set up for me. So, this was kind of more of just like I had to decide what I wanted for myself versus what everyone else wanted for me. And not everybody kind of understood that. So, thankfully, his family took me in, bro, and they let me create there. And bro, if it wasn't for that, I don't even know if I would have. I can't say I wouldn't have made it this far, but I definitely wouldn't have made it exactly to where I am right now. That's for sure.
So you got to doing the music. When did you drop that first project?
Ooh. I dropped a couple tapes like on SoundCloud, but like my first project, I would have to. I don't even know what year it was. I want to say 2020, 2021. It was called Acting Bad. It was like the first tape I actually put out like on all platforms and everything, like a good couple songs. And when I had made that project, bro, that was honestly a jump years later, cause from the moment I started recording at Bro's crib and like making my own studio, there was like a 2 year period where I was still making music, but I was just an engineer. Like I got a job engineering at Doobie and Highlight Studio. Shout out to them, man. Like they gave me a job engineering there, and that's really where I started to like grow as an artist, cause I was just throwing shit at the wall. Like I didn't even have any friends that made music at the time when I was living with Bro. So it was just like me and whatever I thought sounded good. So when I got into there and I was able to, learn a little bit more about Pro Tools, record other artists, get around other people, that's when it all really started to click together. So it was low key like going to rap school for like a year and a half, 2 years, like just every day, just engineering people. It was a good way to make money, and I feel like that's really when I started to hone my skills. So I would say it was like a 2 year gap before I actually even dropped my first project on everything. I just wanted it to be right.
Hell yeah. Um, you just mentioned it. How did you tap in with Highline Doobie? Was it just you got hired to just engineer and that's how it happened?
Bro, this story is so crazy because it's literally like coincidences on coincidences. So I'm still living with Noah, and we're sitting there on Instagram looking up studios. He's like, "Man, you should just try to get in a studio one day." This, that. Mind you, like I'm dirt broke, bro. Like I'm making maybe $50 a day maybe $100 a day, like selling T-shirts, and that's every other day, maybe. Like, how many T-shirts is someone gonna buy in a week? You know. So like, at this point, I'm like, all right, fuck it. I scrapped up like $200. I know they were doing like a studio deal, and mind you, at this point, like, bro, I had no idea who Doobie or Highlight was, but I knew about their studio. I had like looked up on Instagram, and everybody was posting this studio. I'm like, okay, this has got to be like the spot. So I booked the studio. You know, I get in there. They had the deal, and you know, Bond, Bond. You feel me? Bond comes in there, and
Yeah.
he's like, all right, bro, like, just let us know if you need anything. I'm looking at him like, isn't there an engineer? He's like, oh, you know, that's an extra 25 an hour or whatever at the time. And I was like, fuck, I don't got that. I was like, it's cool though, bro. I'll just, you feel me? I'm here. I'll record myself. And he was like, oh, you know how to record yourself? I was like, shit, I know enough. Like, you know what I mean? So I ended up recording whatever. I'm leaving the studio, and he's like, hey, man, like, it's cool that you can record yourself. Like, I get that you ain't, I dropped my lighter. He's like, I get that you don't really got the cheese right now for an engineer. Do you need a job? I was like, hell yeah. You know what I mean? Like, of course I need a job. What you need me to do? He's like, well, man, we need an engineer in here. He took my number. He's like, I'm going to call you. I ain't hear from him for like 2 weeks. I came home geeked. I told the homies, like, man, they offered me a job. Like, this, that, and the third. We ain't hear nothing for like 2 weeks. So I'm sitting here like, damn, like, all right. So I'll start applying to jobs. So I'm like, shit, I'm broke. You feel me? My friends is like, they helping me out, but at this point I feel bad because I'm like, man, like, I feel like a bum for real. You know what I mean? Like, I'm making music and I'm pursuing my dream, but it's like, you gotta have some hustle to yourself. So I'm like, all right, I'm gonna just go get another job, whatever. I'm sitting in the job, like, it's literally an older job I had. They're getting me rehired. I already have the job. I'm sitting there talking to them, signing the papers. My phone starts ringing and Bond calls me. And he's like, hey, man, can you come to the studio? It's like, absolutely. Feel me? I stood up. I was like, I gotta go. Feel me? Left. Went straight to the studio. Feel me? So we get to the studio. He had me in there with Crash, and that's the first time I recorded somebody else. Feel me? And you know, we got in the studio. We recorded, and that's when they like solidified me the job. After that, they started sending me times like, there's a session at this time. Pull up. There's a session at this time, and like, I just never said no, man. I was always in there. So I get in
That was
there.
dope.
Go ahead.
I would say that's dope though. That got you to be in the studio doing what you wanted to do, and then you got to see all this shit that was going on around you.
Hmm. So that's when it really get crazy because I'm spending time in the studio, and at this time they on the Faithfully Faded tour with like when I get hired on. So it's like nobody's there except for the people coming in to record. I'm just seeing pictures of people on the wall. Like, okay, this must be this guy. This must be this guy. Whatever. So everybody gets back on like a weekend, and I finally meet everyone for the first time. But like, I'm a quiet dude, bro. I keep to myself. So like, I didn't really have no personal relationship with Doobie or Highlight or none of them. You know what I'm saying? Like, I would see them around, like I would say what's up to them, but like, I really kept to myself. Like, I'm here to work. You know what I mean? And it's crazy because so they were doing the Columbus show. Doobie's playing some of his new music that he had made at the time. I think he was playing Niagara Falls, and he in there. We listening to the song. He tapped me. He's like, "Hey man, what you doing this weekend?" I'm like, nothing. He's like, "Oh, we got a show, bro. You should pull up like this, that." I'm like, man, that would be amazing. So, I mean, I get to the show. I'm low key shell shocked. I'm looking around like, bro, this is over 1,000 people. Like, you know what I
You
mean?
ain't know a nigga
I'm
was
crying.
doing that.
Yeah, I ain't know his motion was that crazy. So I'm sitting here like, oh shit, like he does this shit for real. You feel me? But that also shook me. Like he don't even know me. I'm the worker. You feel me? And they invited me to the show. Like so to me, I'm like, that's dope. To me, that hit different. So we get past that. And the deal I had with them was like, I'll record everybody, whoever you want me to record all day. They paid me good and everything. The only thing I asked them, I'm like, bro, this equipment is so much better than what I have at home. Can I just record myself when I'm done with everybody? So I would record myself, bro. I'm talking about I'll record people from 11 a.m. to like 2 o'clock in the morning, 3 o'clock in the morning. And then I'll record myself from like 3 a.m. to like 9 a.m., 10 a.m. As soon as the sun start coming up, I'll go home, shower, nap for a couple hours, come back to the studio.
Nigga, that's that grind though, bro.
Oh
Like
God.
that's the real grind though. Cause
Yeah,
like you was like, nigga, I'll do your shit, but just let me record my shit. And then
yeah.
nigga, hey, that's that real grind, bro. Like you gotta
I was
respect
low-key
that.
obsessed, bro. Like I've always been obsessed, and like it might be to a fault in some ways in my life, but it's like, bro, I see my dad work so hard for what he believe in. You feel me? I'm gonna do the same. So it's like this is what I want to do. It's not gonna happen unless you work for it. So I'm talking about, bro. I'm staying in there every night. One night, feel me? Doobie and them downstairs, but I'm finishing up a session. I'm thinking they all about to leave. It's late as hell. Feel me? So I finish up the session. They pay me. You feel me? They leave. I load up my shit. I start recording. I recorded this song called Vendetta. I mean, like the hook was like, "This here's my vendetta." It's just a smooth little song. So I record the song, whoop whoop, go home. I don't see anybody at the studio. You feel me? I just leave. I come in the next day. I'm sitting in the office rolling up. Doobie come in and smile. He starts singing the song. He like, "This here's my vendetta." And I'm looking at him. I'm like, "Oh, you heard that?" He was like, "Yeah, man. I was standing outside listening to you record." He's like, "Oh shit." And then he looked at me. He's like, "What you doing tonight?" Like nothing, man. He's like, "You wanna? I'm about to record tonight. You wanna stick around?" Like hell yeah. First couple times in the studio with him, bro. Like I ain't do nothing but just sit there and watch. Feel me? Like I ain't expect him to put me on the song. I just watched. Like I'm just like, bro, this is crazy. Like he invited me to his session. Like to me, you feel me? Like that shit's dope. Cause especially where we're from in Columbus, bro. Like people don't reach their hand out like that. You feel me? Like it's a crab in a bucket city. So like to me, that was a huge moment. I was like, hell yeah. Like of course I'll come sit in. And feel me? One day he looks at me. He's like, "Hey, you mind recording me?" It's like, of course. You feel me? Like we get in there, record the first song, and that bro, that locked us in. Like he just asked me to record a couple nights a week, and eventually made me his engineer. And we would spend so much time together, bro. We actually just started to build a friendship, and like, bro, that's my brother, bro. Like we done developed such a crazy relationship just off of just music. Like music, honestly, brought me to the greatest friendships that I have right now, in my opinion. You know, like, and that's not to say anything bad about friends that I've had before, but it's like in terms of connection that I have with people now, it's like I don't know, with especially with the homies like Light, Doobie, Bond, Swan, like it's always genuine. You know what I mean? Like you get around them, and it's like, yeah, we all make music and we all do this, and like, feel me, bro? Let's if we being honest, these guys are, you feel me? They're the top guys in Ohio. You know, like sometimes I'll sit there forgetting it. Like me and Doobie would be kicking it. We'd go out to get something to eat, sit down, and like people are staring at us at the bar, and they'll come up and like, "Can we get a picture?" And he's laughing. I'm thinking like, "Damn, bro, like." You don't even think about it sometimes. So like, bro, it's just a truly humbling experience, honestly, altogether. Like the fact that we even met the way that we did and got to work together, and you know, even now, like, I don't know, man, it's just dope to me. I still don't even believe it sometimes, like any of it. I don't believe any of it sometimes.
All that shit lined up for a reason though, bro. Like shit, you went in there trying to go do what you wanted to do on some studio shit, and it ended up turning from that to being an engineer to working with it to being his engineer. Like that shit was for a reason. Like it's too many. A coincidence might happen once, man, but three, four, five times is tough. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Like
yeah,
that's real shit. So that's dope,
absolutely.
man. That's dope being able to build that relationship with them and shit like that, and then you end up going on and doing like when they be on the tour, you done opened and everything, right?
Yeah, so like that was another crazy experience too. Like, mind you, bro, like they never asked me to sign to them. Like they never asked me for nothing. You feel me? And like to me, like that shit is so dope. Like, bro, it's just genuine. Like they're like, bro, we about to go on tour. Like, you help us out with a couple things on tour, man. You can come. Like, I'm there. You feel me? Like that's if whatever I gotta do, I'm there. Like absolutely. You need someone to run the merch, I got you. You feel me? Like you need someone to unload the truck, I got you. You feel me? Like to me, I played football. You know what I mean? So it's like you gotta earn your keep on a football team. You gotta earn your
Hell
respect. So
yeah.
I I looked at music the same way. That's exactly how I attacked it. Like, bro, I can't come in here feeling like I Drake because I know I'm not Drake. You feel me? I'm not. I'm just like everybody else. So it's like to me, it's like you got to put in the time. You feel me? Like they with they stories, like, you know, they story, bro. Like, they had to put in a grind so different. To me, it's like, bro, I don't gotta ride around in a van and through the desert or none of that. You feel me? All I gotta
For
do is
real.
make sure the merch is set up, and I'm gonna get paid for that too. Like, well, I'll be an idiot to say no. You feel me? Like, so to me,
And you
it's
get to
like,
come do your music and shit in front of all
do
these
my
fans,
music.
and
You feel me? I start gaining a fan base. I'm gaining followers, streams. Like,
they
Doobie was
got
up.
the cult fan base too. So like them motherfuckers really show love and like they really fuck with you.
Best fans in the world, bro. Like, my very first show, like at a with a big crowd, it was in Denver, Colorado, bro. And I'm sitting on the stage, like, feel me? I'm standing next to the stage, shaking, like, I don't know what the fuck about to happen. Feel me? Highlight came back there, Doobie came back there, Bond came back there, like, man, you gonna kill it, like, this, that. You feel me? Get out there, the fans, bro, super receptive, super receptive. You know, they listen, bro. They vibe with you, like. As long, I don't know. To me, it's like I've never felt so comfortable. I feel more comfortable on stage with a bunch of his fans, probably talking, than I would feel talking to a therapist. Like, they're just super receptive people, man.
That's what's dope when you got good fans and cool fans. Like them motherfuckers really out there to support, show love. They buying merch, like, and they coming to multiple shows. Like they don't even, they might not even know you, but they gonna listen to you. Like, oh, he dope, and then bam, you done locked in.
Yeah, and like, bro, they're just cool. Like, here's a perfect example. There was a weekend a while ago where I was in Seattle. This was years ago. I was like 20 years old. Not old enough to get into, damn, to get into a dispensary at this time. So I'm like sitting there like, fuck, I don't got a rental. Not old enough to get to a dispensary, but I need weed. So I just posted on my Instagram like, whoever's in Seattle, I'm in town and I need help getting weed. He had posted me on his story or something, and these two fans out there had followed me from that, and they had been following me for like a couple months. Swiped up, they're like, "Where you at, bro? We'll come get you." Picked me up at the hotel. Dabbed them like, "Man, what's up, y'all? This is that." They took me to the dispensary. Be like, "What do you want?" Like, I pick it out on the phone, hand them the cash. Bro, they came back with the weed, handed me the cash back. They're like, "Nah, bro, we got you. You're in our town." Took me to their house, you feel me? Gave me some drinks, like, spent some time with them. I rolled up with them, smoked with them right there. I'm like, bro, y'all cool. Like, that was my first interaction with his fans outside of a show or anything. And this is before I'm even touring. So, like, they're like, "Yeah, man, we love Doobie. Like, we'll do anything for anybody. Like, this is that." I'm like, bro, y'all are really dope people. Like, and that's when I really got to understand and, like, you really attract the kind of fans of like the type of person you are. You know what I mean? So like I got to understand like, bro, they really like the kind of vibe of person he is. Like, you know, I was like, he's a genuine person in this kind of sense. So I was like, man, like that shit was dope to me. That was my first interaction to his fans before I even got to the show. So like I don't know. I feel comfortable around that fan base and I don't know,
It's
man.
all a family, man, for real. Like even with everybody, SCFMG, everybody, like it's all a family. Like
Yeah.
them been my dogs for years, and shit. When you came around, shit, it's love, shit. It's family. That's your fam, you my fam. You know what I'm saying? We lock in.
I swear, man, and it's crazy because bro, I remember they were telling me when we got there, like, bro, you gonna meet Squirrel today, like, that's the homie, like, he really was there from the jump, like, you know, they was telling me stories, like, bro,
Them
okay,
niggas used to sleep on my kids' bunk beds and shit.
yeah, they was telling me, like, bro, we used to sleep at his crib, everything. I'm like, man, like,
Those good dudes, man. Like them motherfuckers, like
bro,
since the beginning. Just seeing the growth and seeing how like someone close to you like that, seeing how the grind and seeing how far you can go. I got to watch that shit, and it's dope to watch. And then now they branching off. Now they got a whole team. They got the studio. They got engineers. They got
yeah.
artists. You know what I'm saying? Like that shit dope, and it's all a family.
And it's bro, it's crazy because it's like that's why it works. You feel me? And I got to understand like that's why it works. Like genuine people, genuine relationships, like a real story. Like, you know, like these guys really done put the work in, like handing out the CDs, riding across the country, all of that. So it's like To me, I soak everything in, bro. All kinds of knowledge, all kinds of motivation. Like I see that, and I'm like, bro, who am I to say I can't stay up and make this song tonight, or who am I to say, you know what I mean, I can't drive to this city in my own car to do the show? Like, why would I say any of that when these guys did? You know what I mean? Like they went through anything and everything. Like that's what it takes. So,
It's about how bad you really want it. Like it. Anybody can say they want to do that shit. Like you see the formula and you see how somebody actually did it. They showing you like, hey, if you really want it, you can go get anything in this world. I tell my kids that. Like nigga, you can go get anything you want. You got to go work for it, or you got to go get it though. Like you
bro,
got to grind hard for that shit.
you got to, and it's like I just bought a new car. One of the tours, we had like a couple legs of shows. I had just bought this scat pack, bro. And me and Swan, I remember like, dude was like, yeah, bro, y'all gotta come to these shows. This, that. I mean, shout out to him. Like, you feel me? He brought us out there again. Like, another situation. He was like, y'all should come. I looked at Swan. I'm like, bro, fuck it. We ride in the scat, man. We drove that bitch like 4 different states. I tried to change the oil on the road and everything. Like, I was like, fuck it. We'll put the miles on the car, bro. Like, we'll whip it. Me and you can share that. You feel me? We'll go back and forth driving. Like, man, we went 4 different states in that bitch. Fuck it. Like, that's what it takes.
Swan dope too. Shit.
Yeah, that's the bro. That's my brother, man. Like, shout out to Swan. Like, I ain't gonna lie. That's my twin, bro. We done develop. That's another friendship that you feel me came through music that was super random at first too. Cause like the first, I'll say like the first year, like we was cool because we would see each other in passing, but we're the same type of person. We keep to ourselves for real. Like the only time you gonna see us is if like you involved with what we doing. So like we would never really see each other. We see each other as cool and everything, but like I don't even remember. We was trying to talk about it the other day because like bro, we were literally sitting there like, how did we become friends? Because we used to talk about we never used to hang out. Like I think one time I asked him like, hey bro, you trying to hop on the song? And he came up and actually spit like a crazy verse on the song. Like I fuck with this. I think that again, this how the music plays into it. He was like, I fuck with this song, and we did another session together, and we just ended up friends. Like, um, I
So
guess
let the people know what. Tell us about 115. What's that mean? What's that stand for you?
so. To me, it means getting closer to your sense of purpose. So I could give you like a little background, right? So the way I got into the number and found the number, super fried. I used to do. There was one summer specifically. One summer specifically, bro. I swear to God, true story. And again, not that I condone it, but I just did a shit ton of acid. And I used to trip like probably like every weekend, like just a couple months straight. And there was one day I'm tripping there with my homies, and we step outside, come back in the house, and bro was just like, bro. And we look at each other, it's like, and I swear to God, I said at the same time, it's like 115 degrees in here. And then we're just both like, whoa. Feel me? Super fried thought. That's just literally what happened. Nothing came of it at that point. Next day, we see the number. I think it was like, we look at the time, like, what time is it? It's like 1:15. He's like, hey, weren't we talking about that last night? We're like, yeah, what? Boom. Then I start seeing the number everywhere, though. Like, I get my change back, $1.15. I mean, at this point is when I start picking up music. I get to the studio, I start seeing it everywhere, bro. I'm talking about number on the house. I get a cash app for the session in the mix, $115. Like at least twice a day, I'm seeing the number. So I'm like, all right. I'm talking to this girl about it, and she's like, oh, you should look into it. Like numbers mean something. Blah 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 blah.
That's what
I
they
read
say.
like that. I was like, I've never been much of a superstitious person. So like, I'm just now getting hip to like astrology, all kinds of shit. So she's like, yeah, you should look into numbers. They mean something. And I look into it, and I read like a bunch of different articles, but the one that stuck with me, it was like you can see the number for two different reasons. Like you're getting closer to your sense of purpose, or you're moving too quickly and too dangerously and like need to slow down. So the way I took it is when I see the number, depending on what I'm doing at that time and how I'm thinking at that time, that's how I'm gonna perceive it. So I start seeing it more when I'm getting around the studio and everything. I'm like, okay, that's my sense of purpose. But then there's times like I was driving home smoking. Feel me? 1:15, I see the clock. I'm like, let me slow down a little bit, put this blunt out. Cop get behind me. Like weird shit like that. Swear to God, word to my mother. You feel me? So then I get to the point where I'm like, okay, like this shit might be real. You feel me? At least with
Shit
this
means
number and
something.
my connection with it. So, I implemented it into my music name. I don't tell nobody this exact reason though. You feel me? I'm just like, to me, it's like I see it when I see it. I know what it means to me. I never explained it to nobody. Swear to God though, I'm helping Light move out of one of his cribs once. We see this garage in the complex that's got 115 on it. I look at it, I'm like, bro, look, my number right there. Like, I've been seeing that number a little bit. I think Doobie said the same thing. He been seeing the number too. So like, I start to realize people around me even start to see the number every now and then. So to me, it's undeniable. Like, I'm close to my sense of purpose, and that's definitely what that number means, at least in my life. You know what I mean? So I take that number super seriously. Like, I got it tatted on my hand. Like, I live by that number. I'm not gonna lie to you. And every time I see it, to me it just feels good. Like it gives me a reassurance. Like, all right, I know I'm doing what I'm doing, and typically I'm working hard, so it goes hand in hand.
Hey, that's dope though. At least you got something that means something that deep when it come to your name, and it's not just something. Everybody want to be this or that, but you got some shit that means something. That shit dope.
Yeah, and to me it's like I don't know. The people that I experience with that with are again are like homies, like lifelong homies that have helped me a lot. So like even from the core of when I started seeing that number to where I see it now and how it's affected people around me and how they see it, like yeah, to me this number is special, man. It means something for sure.
That's dope. Um, Tell us about the new song you got coming out with Doobie.
Storms, Fire Song, so it's coming out on the 15th this Wednesday. That song is super special too, cause I mean Doobie's been shifting into rock music lately. He dropped Early Bird Gets the Whiskey. You feel me? That song's going nuts. So he had actually, when he was making this shift in music, he sat down with me one day and we had a long talk about my music and what I could do to better my music and take it further. And we talked about improvements I could make with songwriting, like sonically, mixing wise, just the whole 9 yards. He really dropped some knowledge on me. And he challenged me that day. He was like, "Hey man, I want you to try to work with more live instruments. I want you to try to like incorporate like some guitar into your music." He wasn't pushing no rock on me. He's like, "You don't gotta make rock music." He's like, "But just incorporate it. Even if you do like a hip hop beat, have someone play some guitar over it." Which is kind of dope because I ended up meeting my homie AG. For me, I'm in his studio right now. Like, he's a dope ass instrumentalist, and I met him through my manager. So at this whole time, everything's clicking in my head. Like, shit. All right, so me and AG can start cooking, and I'll start getting some live sounds down. And then, shit, we've been in the studio. Just I'll come to my studio or like come to AG's studio. We've been in his studio, and then some nights we'll cook up together. So we'll be in the studio together, and he'll either be working on his song, I'm working on mine, or we're working on something together. And he was in there one night. And he was like, "Let's cook up." We were vlogging that night too, which is dope. I think because we never vlog anything, and we were talking about how we need to start doing that. So we actually got to vlog this session too, but we ended up just playing through some loops, and we just started making a song, bro, and it was really coming together crazy. Like we found a loop. I think I laid like a couple drum sounds, and Doobie came and laid some crazy drums down. Then AG played some bass guitar over it, and then he played some acoustic guitar at the end, and then we just started laying down vocals, and it just came together. It's just like the way me and him make music very similarly, me and Doobie. So like when we cook up, it's almost like just constant. Like, all right, we switch off. Like, all right, I'm gonna do this. you can do the other part of this, or I'm gonna mix the vocals in this kind of way, and then you can add your own little sauce on it. So like we'll just jump back and forth on the computer. Even when I was engineering them, that's what we would do. It's like now we just do it together, making music together. So our chemistry is pretty good. So I mean, we just got in there and the song came out. I wasn't really happy with my verse at first, so I went back in and made some tweaks. But it's really just a song about getting over the storm, man. I feel like some of us, at least me myself, I know when certain situations could probably be negatively affecting me, but it's like I'll just stick around just to see how it's gonna end. So that's what we ended up making a song about. And that bitch is crazy, bro. He just called me yesterday. He called me. He was like, "Man, I was just listening to this song. This shit is crazy. Like, I got the old Doobie on there. Like, he's rapping crazy, but we got a good mix of some rock sounds in there, some live drums, and to me, that's just altogether a creative record. Like, I'm excited about this one.
Is this record on an album or anything, or it's just coming out as a single first?
It's coming out as a single right now. I'm trying to hold off on the project for right now. I got a couple sitting, but I just feel like personally, I feel like with projects, music gets overlooked when you're up and coming. Like at least in my personal demographic, I feel like when I drop a project, certain songs don't get the attention they deserve because they're not at the very top, or people just heard different ones and they were like, oh, I already heard this one, so this is what they're listening to. Like I'm not a Drake. You feel me? So to me, I've been thinking more on a scale of like I just want people to be able to appreciate the music more. You know what I mean? And I think this year I'm gonna try to attack more singles and give people a
I think
chance.
that's important though, because I be feeling the same way though. I feel a lot of music, it could be the dopest song. If it's at 8 or 9, they might not even listen to nothing but 3 songs. So you
Yeah,
got to drop them singles and just maybe drop them quicker or more. You know what I mean?
exactly. And like
The same
that's
way doing it, just dropping it that way.
and that's the thing is like to me is I don't put music out at all unless I love it. So like if I drop a project, I don't have any filler songs or anything. I love these songs. So I get salty when I'm like, man, I put this song on here, but like I know people aren't listening to it because it's down here. I could have just put it out as a single. So I'm just trying to not be a prideful idiot, and I want everybody to be able to enjoy the music correctly.
What's your plans for 2025?
2025, I definitely want to get out of Ohio more again. I want to do some more shows on the road. I really want to start collaborating more with artists outside of my friend group and outside of like my current connections. I feel like that's something I've been lacking in, man. I feel like everybody needs to network, and I'm an introvert, so I'm trying to get out of that this year. I really want to start working with more artists and new music coming. 15th of January, dropping new music every 2 weeks this year.
Man, before we get out of here, I know you got to you said you did a lot of acid. Hey, I don't care how people think. Fuck it. Um, you
I'm
got a
not
funny
proud of
you
it.
got you got a funny acid story.
So I ended up doing way more than I was supposed to. Let's just put it that way. It was, bro. It was not a fun time. It was such a terrible time. Like I remember I was sitting in like my little studio space. I had seen a little spider, and it looked like this big. I swear, it just looked giant. It was like crawling towards me, and I was freaking out. I was like, man, what the fuck? So my homie comes and kills it, and I'm sitting there like just traumatized. Like, bro, I was about to get eaten by a spider. That's how I really felt at the time. I get to chill. I'm like, all right, go upstairs. And I'm just like, I'm in the bathroom. I use the bathroom. I'm looking in the mirror, and I'm just like, I step out. I'm like, man, I think it's time for a change, bro. I shaved my face, entirely clean, like clean shaven. And look, bro, anybody who's seen it will tell you, like, bro, I look like a whole different person. So like, I just look crazy. Feel me? Shaved my face entirely, and that was it for me, bro. I was just like, bro, no more.
Hey, that's over with. After that, I'm
Like,
done.
I fuck with like some shrooms here and there. You feel me? Like those are cool, but bro, I don't stay away from acid, man. Take it from me. Stay away from that shit.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. But
Hey,
no,
115J, man, I appreciate you for coming on the podcast for
yeah,
sure, man. Family, man.
yeah. Thank you for
Uh,
having me.
hey, make sure y'all tap into the new song, man, with Doobie.
Yes,
This
sir.
shit gonna be crazy.
Yes, sir.
And
Appreciate you, bro.
yeah, I appreciate you, man.
Yes, sir. Much love.